is also the number of weeks we have to wait to know for sure who's going to play for the national championships. Glad to have you with us. BCS Countdown. You know Jesse Palmer and David Pollock. Kirk Herbstreit joins us in a matter of minutes. So in this penultimate week of the season, what's the most impressive thing you saw?
I was really impressed the top 5 teams survived. We've seen chaos amidst the top 5 the last couple of weeks, but Notre Dame goes on the road. They handle their business, earn a spot in the BCS national championship game. Would have been easy for Alabama and Georgia to look ahead to the SEC title game. They take care of business against in-state rivals at home. And finally, Florida and Oregon had to go on the road, play in-state rivals for a shot to keep their national championship hopes alive. All 5 teams showed great mental toughness.
Well, I think Florida. I mean, just everybody was talking about Florida State and their balance and their great offense and everything that was going to happen at home. They were going to take care of business. They were going to show everybody in the country why they deserve to be in the national championship conversation. Coach Boone didn't think that was very funny. Coach Boone took a shot at it at the halftime. We ran against better defenses, and Florida absolutely punished Florida State.
All right. So there is more coming up. In case you're thinking this is a miniature scene from The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. Well, it sort of kind of is. And don't change the channel. I'm not going to be here that long. This is only to explain things coming up as to whom is going to play Notre Dame. Our Polynesian spirit guardian deity, I assigned him to watch over Terrell. KIM-PAK, our oracle to the sports gods, he's 17-7. He was like 13-1 in Generation 1. And of course the Shinto bell, which is over 350 years old, which we must ring before we ask the 1300-year-old Buddha who is going to win what. Alright, so what are we talking about? Lots of fodder coming up. Don't change the channel. I'm not going to be here that long, but we're doing our bit. College football final does not have, let's see, 1,300, 350, 1,650 plus 5, 1,850-year-old worth of stuff on the set. All right? Oh, so here we go. Hey, KIM-PAK. I'll explain the E-gene as I go along. So, Notre Dame's #1. You see your comrade over here. And we tend to bleed Alabama around here. If we could get the Cessna out of the set soundscape. So, who's going to win the SEC championship? Therefore, get the right to play Notre Dame. And since we bleed Alabama around here, we are going to ask the opposite, all at the E-gene. You can't ask the E-gene a question that you are favorable towards, because otherwise it can lead you to misinterpret it. You have to ask the opposite. Your least wantable, likable, outable, outcomeable? You follow what I'm saying. Alright, so what are the chances that Georgia is going to win against Alabama and play Notre Dame? We break out the magic dice. Just so you know, I don't check the dice to get to a desired outcome. I wait till all 3 show up. It's like this. It's not quite the E-gene, but it's similar to. Still can't read it. Never takes this long. Okay, there we go. We have a 2, 6, and 5. Go. There you go. Alright, so everybody can see. That's the first of the dice that showed up clearly. So you have a 2, 6, and 5. That's 8 plus 5, that's 13. Times 10 within the 100 percentile. It's the only way to make it work within the E-gene. So again, I have to redo the math. 2 plus 6, that's 8, plus 5, that's 13. Times 10 is 130. Divided by the number of dice, so that it's not over 100%. Alright, so 3 into 130 is what? 40, we'll give it 43? You know, 129. Plus the number, so 40, again, I said 43. I have messed up on this in the past. I'm going to make sure I do this right. Okay, again, don't change the channel. I'm not going to be talking that long. You know, the rest of the BCS countdown's coming up. 43. Plus the number of dice, 3. 46. Plus the number they add up to, which was again 2, 6, and 5, 8, and 13. So 46 plus 13, 59%. So it sounds like KIM-PAK is saying 59% Georgia's going to win your SEC championship. So it sounds, that's the sort of thing. Yeah, the last time we asked KIM-PAK, if you look back on the channel, he said South Carolina had a 65% chance of beating Georgia, and it ended up like 55 to freaking 12. He almost got fired. But it sounds like he's saying that percentile that I just quoted to you, like a fourth quarter outcome. I'm not so sure about that. All right, so, but we'll see. You know, 17-7, maybe he'll be 18-7. Don't bet the farm on KIM-PAK this year. Last year you could have. All right. On with the rest of the BCS countdown, and go.
Starting at 11 through 25, brought to you by Tostitos. This has a little bit of a different look here at the bottom. San Jose State, what a great job Mike McIntyre's done. Same deal with Gary Anderson at Utah State. Both those 10-win teams out of the WAC. Northern Illinois is going to play for the MAC championship. Do not miss that game on Friday night against, perhaps other than the championship contenders, the most significant team in the standings. It's Kent State at 17. Why? Because Kent State is one spot away from getting an automatic spot in a BCS game. If they finish in the top 16 and ahead of a champion from an automatic qualifying conference, they're in somewhere. They're going to finish ahead of the Big East champion. The question is, do they get to 16? There's a very good shot of it. It'll be the first time in BCS history that a team that lost by 33 to Kentucky.
Say that again. To who?
33 to Kentucky.
How many wins did Kentucky have?
Kentucky had 2.
Okay. 2 wins. Kent State.
But Dre Archer's fun to watch.
Unbelievable. You want to talk about Gino Bernard, Marquise Lee, Tavon Austin, some of the most complete players.
Did his team beat Kentucky by 33?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, sit on the sidelines.
For this game, but still, let them play for a conference championship. But hey, look, if they get there, those are the rules. That's the way it's set up. They'll have a shot. 11 through 15, and remember, for the at-large berth, 14 is the cutoff. Clemson is eligible, but frankly not sitting in a great spot. Brad Edwards is going to join us in a little bit to tell you why. Oklahoma still has a chance to get a share of the Big 12 title when they finish up against TCU. So we'll get to the top 10 in a matter of moments, as promised. Kirk Herbstreit is joining us now. So Kirk, this past weekend, not quite the chaos that we've seen in recent weeks. What stuck out at you? What are you looking forward to the most in the top 10?
Well, the big thing I think clearly was that Notre Dame was able to secure a spot in the national championship, and they had an opportunity to go out and show to people that they deserve a chance to get in there. There's no argument, there's no debate, and just to watch the way they won it in the Coliseum with a lot of pressure, I thought they really stood up and accounted for themselves nicely. The other thing, and David mentioned this, was Florida. I thought Florida, with the way Jeff Driscoll came into the game with a gimpy ankle, going into Tallahassee where their defense has been outstanding. Florida from the opening series there to win the game. Very aggressive with the play calling by Brent Pease.
10 is the magic number for South Carolina. The Gamecocks winning 10 games at least for the second straight year. First time that's ever happened in program history. Another SEC team just ahead of the Gamecocks, Texas A&M, a 10-win squad for the first time since 1998, and the presumptive Heisman Trophy frontrunner in Johnny Manziel. At number 8, Stanford will play UCLA on the farm Friday night. Winner goes to the Rose Bowl. At number 7, LSU, another 10-win season for the Hat. Mad Hatter, wait to see the Stanford Ducks, almost certainly will be an at-large team. Just ahead of Oregon is Florida. Here's the BCS rule regarding that. If you have a team that did not win the championship in an automatic qualifying conference and they're ranked 3rd, they get an automatic berth. If no one meets that criteria at 3, it goes to 4. So assuming the Gators can hold their spot, they will be in a BCS game. 2 and 3, just as anticipated. Number 3 is Georgia. Its only loss coming at the hands of South Carolina. Ranked just ahead is Alabama. Alabama and Georgia will play in the SEC championship game. Winner earning the right to play Notre Dame. Now, that's not completely official, but everybody understands that that's the way it's going to unfold. So it'll be Notre Dame against the SEC champion for the national championship. Now, Notre Dame's undefeated. Nobody's been able to handle them. They shouldn't worry about who they play. But, Kirk, as you look at potential matchups, is there one matchup for the Irish against an SEC team that Notre Dame would find more favorable?
Well, the great news for Notre Dame is regardless of whoever wins the game in Atlanta is going to be heavily favored. And I think that's a great thing for Notre Dame. How many times have we seen 40-some days of preparation of the team that has no chance to win the game, getting really just adding fuel to their fire and getting them ready to go out and play. So with that in mind, I think if Alabama wins this game, and Nick Saban, the mighty Crimson Tide, going up against poor Notre Dame, if I'm Brian Kelly, that's the matchup that I would want, because you would hear after interview after interview, man, how do you match up with Notre Dame? How do you stop this offense? How do you move the ball against that Nick Saban defense? They've had 4 weeks to get ready. Nobody can move. That would really, I think, just give Notre Dame more incentive and really just kind of give them, I think, more of a chance to shock the world to go out there and win the game.